Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Tales of a Queen featuring Jessica, a Grampas boxing gym. Stay tuned, Queen Life. Let's get ready to... What's up, you guys? Big Bob with Tales of a King. Welcome back to another edition. First of all, we want to thank our sponsors, Cyclesmiths Inc., for their continued support. Make sure to shop at www.cyclesmiths.com. And thank you to Legendary USA. Shop legendaryusa.com, and you guys go shop and check them out. But today we got a very special edition. I'm right here in Garden Grove, California with Jessica. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you for having me.
Jessica is the owner of Grampas Boxing Gym. Got it right. There's a story behind that. But Jessica, thank you for having us. Well, first of all, how'd you get into boxing?
Yeah, so boxing is kind of known as like a man's sport, but I've been having boxing in my life since I can remember. I just remember my grandfather playing like the old school, you know, Tyson, Holyfield, just being on my living room floor and watching boxing. So I didn't start getting into actually training till I was about like 12.
Oh, wow.
Never took it serious, but my grandpa wanted me to be able to defend myself, and me and my sister did it. And we kind of stopped doing it for a while, but we always watched the main fights, always had a bag hanging in the garage. And then when I turned about 15, 16, I told my grandpa, hey, I want to get back into boxing. Can I go to the gym with you? Because he was always at gyms. He loved to like manage fighters, ref fights. He did boxing himself, but he never took it serious because he had really bad kidney stones. So he never knew. He just thought boxing wasn't for him because of the pain. And then to find out down the road, like, no, you were just passing kidney stones.
Oh, he didn't know?
He didn't know, yeah. It was just back in the day when you didn't go to the doctors and stuff.
So he thought he was injured or hurt?
He thought that, like, he's like, I can't handle these liver shots.
Oh, man.
And they were literally just kidney stones.
Wow, what a bummer.
Yeah, but he did everything else boxing. It was like breakfast, lunch, dinner was boxing for him. And then we were over at a gym training when I was about 16, got back into it, and that gym closed down. So we kind of just like went from gym to gym, hopping around, couldn't really find like a home gym that we felt comfortable at until we finally decided, you know what, he had the money, I had the time. At that time, I had already graduated high school pretty early, so I was already working like three jobs and getting into college.
Did you graduate high school early because you were smart?
By choice. Yeah. So
I don't mean smart. I meant like
not
on purpose.
Not like high IQ genius, but definitely. I mean, if you are intentional and get your stuff done, you can graduate early. Doesn't mean that.
So you just want to knock it out, basically.
I want to knock it out. I wanted to work.
Pay attention, young people.
I always had older friends, so when my friends graduated, I kind of was like. I also went to 7 different high schools.
Wow.
So I liked being like. We moved. I only got kicked out of one. Okay, so it's not because I didn't get kicked out of schools. It was just like we would move, or once I kind of started like being in the habit of like switching schools, I kind of was like, all right, let's switch now. Like it was fun for me, like making new friends and being the new girl. I ended up graduating early, and like I said, I was already working. So when we couldn't really find a gym, I just told my grandpa, you know what? Let's just open our own gym. It had always been a dream of his. But he just never had like the support to make it a reality. So it took us 2 years to find this location, and this was the first and only location that we opened up back in 2011. So it'll be 13 years in February.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, is that a big deal? You said you guys went to a few gyms.
You can ask anybody. Like, this gym really has a different vibe compared to most gyms. You know, times are changing. Really try to modernize it. But at the same time, there's a thin line where you don't want to be so corporate. You still want to have that authentic, traditional boxing gym. But like, no one wants to train in a smelly old gym where there's just a bunch of like old men hanging around, you know? That's more of like the authentic, traditional gym. So we're really trying to just find like a middle ground where we can have best of both worlds, where women, kids feel comfortable also training here. We don't want it smelling. We don't want like just people just sitting on the floor like a normal old gym. So yeah, when I had gone to a couple of gyms, I was like, I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable. You know, I want to go somewhere where I'll feel at home. And that's one of the best compliments that we get here. Everybody always feels at home.
Well, talking to a few of the people, you got a lot of, from what I saw today, a lot of people have been coming here for a lot of years.
A lot of day ones, a lot of ride or dies here,
And so what's one of your most memorable experiences here at this gym?
Good or bad?
Give me both.
Okay, so bad right off the bat, my grandfather actually died here.
In the gym?
In the gym,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
so we've actually had 2 people die here, which is crazy. But I like to think that they died doing what they love.
Okay.
We had a trainer who he was doing mitts with a boxer, passed out, had a massive heart attack.
Wow.
And he didn't make it. And same with my grandfather, he was sitting over at his desk. My grandpa always said he wasn't gonna make it past 75. And he didn't make it past 75.
Oh.
And he just kind of was like very like in tune, and he kind of knew that day something was up. So just a normal day, I left for lunch. I was like, I'll bring you something. He's like, I don't feel good. But he always never felt good. He was an anxious person, my grandfather. He was always worried about me, my sister, his family, just kind of always worrying.
Right.
So we never even listened to him. We're like, okay, you'll be fine. Like, just another day.
Right.
But that day was a little bit different because he was going around showing trainers like, oh, I have this here in case anything ever happens. And it was almost kind of like he had a feeling something was going to happen.
Right.
So we closed during our lunchtime, but we were always really slow during that time.
Okay.
So I would take off for lunch, and then maybe there'd be one person here, if that, working out. So everybody left. There was one guy working out, and he was sitting at his desk, and he had a massive heart attack.
Wow.
And the gentleman was able to find him, called 911. I get a call from the cops. They're like, we're taking your grandfather to the hospital. I rush over there, and he didn't make it.
Oh, sorry.
So that was definitely one of the hardest times here for us. Yeah. When he was alive, he always gave me my place. Like if anybody had any questions, he's like, well, she's the boss, go talk to her. But because he was here, people respected me.
Right.
So when he passed, the dynamic changed completely.
He's not here
to back me up, defend me.
Wow.
So we had it was a hard year for me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of questions of if I even want to continue or not, because it was difficult being, a younger girl, bunch of like machista men, older, they don't want to take rules from a girl.
Right.
So yeah, it was a hard time, but I always think that if he hadn't passed, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I would have depended on. Yeah, it definitely made me stronger, more independent. I thought I was strong then. No way. No way. So yeah, I took over officially without his, him helping me out, without, because anything that I needed, he was there to help out. Okay, we need money for this. Here you go. I was 25 when he passed.
Wow.
So this was my main income. So, I'm not sure if you, what you do for work, or if you run businesses, or.
I actually work for cement plant. I repair trains.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Train cars.
Yeah, running a business it's hit or miss. It's not a guaranteed income. So yeah, when he passed, it was kind of like, okay, it's all on me now to provide for the family and stuff. And I brought my mom on board. So in 2016, my mom started helping me out.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's still family.
So this whole thing is family ran.
Yes and no. Yeah, I don't really let the rest of my family get in it because it's hard working with family. The only person I can work with is my mom, for sure.
Okay.
Even when my grandpa was here, we would fight every day. So yeah, shout out to all the people that work with family members because it's hard. But with me and my mom, we just have a great thing going. She's the only one I'm like, I can really count on. Like,
so what happened to your book? Did you fight?
I used to fight. Yeah, I used to fight amateur. So I was blessed enough to be able to compete internationally. I fought out in Tahiti, New Zealand.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I did that from like about 19 to 24.
Wow.
And then I ended up having, they diagnosed me, I went in for kind of like a heart attack. But it was just like my heart is just a little bit weaker, I guess. And so it was, I had like inflammation around the heart where it was like, I had chest pains. So when I went in, they did tests and they're like, you're having a heart attack. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not, because I'm here talking to you guys. But they kept me in there. I was in ICU for about a week, and they told me, you can't box anymore. Let's figure out what's going on with you. Ugh. So I took some time off, and then I got cleared about like a year later, and it was just so hard to get back into it. Taking all that time off to really get back. I mean, I'm sure like you've started a workout regimen. If you take a break, it's like,
it's hard to get
so
back into
hard
where
to just get the shoes on to go run. Once you're running, you're great, but it's like that starting process. So I always kind of like was half in, half out after that. And then just kind of stepped behind the scenes, got really into my coaching other fighters, just doing the administrative work around here. So I never got back into it, but I always wish.
Miss it?
I do, yeah. I think every fighter is gonna miss putting the gloves on in boxing. And I will sometimes, I'll get in there and I'll spar, not right now, because you know, I'm pregnant, but like when I'm not, for training, I'll spar and I'll still hit the bag and things like that.
Well, that's too bad. You know, you had that incident, but you're here, you're safe, you're healthy.
Yes.
You're pregnant, you're married. Now,
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff, right? Yeah. Now, it's not common for, well, is it common? It's not common for women to box.
It's not as popular, but I think it is. There is a rise nowadays. I see a lot more, similar with writing, you know. I see a lot more women competing. Even here in our gym, our ratio has gone up. We have a lot more girls in the gym. So yeah, I'd like to see them take over a little bit more. We just had like this controversial topic in boxing for women's boxing. They're really pushing because they don't fight the same amount of minutes and rounds. So one of my favorite boxers, Amanda Serrano, is pushing to have like more equality and fight the same minutes and the same rounds as men.
Now that's something similar to riding, right?
Yes.
Obviously you ride. You have
I have a 2020 Street Bob.
Street Bob.
Soft tail.
And did you buy that brand new?
I bought it brand new, yes.
And what we'll get into it now. What upgrades have you done and are you done?
So when I bought it, I already had the bars and the fairing, but we went ahead and changed out the rear fender, the pipe, the seat. Shout out to Imes. We get a lot of our parts over at Imes. Rocking a Saddleman seat. And that's pretty much it.
Are you pretty happy with the way it is, or do you plan to do anything else?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. For the longest time, I wanted wheels. I wanted to go ahead and throw some rims on there, but like change out the brakes and everything. But now, I'm kind of like, maybe I should just get another bike. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what we're gonna do. I have time to think about it because I'm not riding right now that I'm pregnant, and I do miss it a lot. But I'd rather be safe.
So how did you get into riding?
I got into riding, so at a young age, I always knew I wanted to ride. It's kind of same with boxing. I like to do things a little bit different. I was more of a tomboy, and my dad had a Harley, and he would always like pick me up from school on his bike, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So fast forward to now as an adult, my boyfriend at the time, was about to pick up a bike, and he started on a Sporty. There we are, both of us.
How did he get that Sporty, or was it a Harley?
Harley, yeah.
So
yeah, he had the A.
No, didn't you tell him to get it?
Oh yeah, so there's a story to that. So what had happened was, me and my husband have known each other since we were 11 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, long time. Best friends relationship. And I was like literally the perfect wing woman, got him all his girlfriends. So then once we grew up, and we were a little bit older, we had started watching like Sons of Anarchy. It was really popular, and he had put a pole. His brother rode like a street bike, probably like a Gixxer or something, I'm not too sure. And he had put a pole up on his Instagram. And this was like before the poll days on your story. Like this is like a hard launch on the feed, like a post, and was like street bike or Harley. And all the girls flooded the comments like street bike, street bike, street bike. And I commented, I was like, Harley, like for sure. Like that's the only way to go if you're gonna be on twos. And I like to say that I convinced him to get the Harley. He'll say it was Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy, but I think it was me. So he got on a bike first, and I remember he brought it home, and literally no pegs. I'm like, no seat, I don't think, because we did the suction seat for a while, but that day I don't think.
Oh, for you?
For me, yeah.
Oh, I thought
I was on the back.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I was on the back and went out there, and so we were just so excited.
Yeah.
We look back, and I'm like, how ridiculous do we look? Like, he had that bike for maybe like a month, and then upgraded immediately into a Dyna. And then I took the course in 2018. I took the course, and I remember he let me ride his Dyna a little bit, but it was just kind of too heavy for me. He had it like the shocks that he had, like it just sat way too high. The bars, I dropped it like one time and I got like really scared after that, and more because it wasn't my bike, and it's just like, he was like, you know, you don't want to make your man's mad and be like, oh shit, I dropped your bike, my bad. So, and then at the time too, my husband had cancer.
Oh, wow.
So I dropped his bike one day after like a hard chemo day, and we could not pick up the bike. It was literally like the worst feeling ever. He couldn't even be mad at me because he felt like shit.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to get a bike. Like, I already took the course, because what happens is you take the course, for anybody that's out there that's gonna get into riding, you take the course, but if you don't own a bike and you're not practicing, every time you get on a bike, it's like riding for the very first time. So you're nervous, you forget, you gotta have, even if it's like a dirt bike or something, you gotta have something to just kind of like practice to like ease those nerves, I think.
It's pretty much all the same. I came from, obviously I grew up riding dirt bikes, and it's the same, just a little more power, a little bit heavier, same concept, you know, that's how I feel.
I actually hear that Harleys are easier than dirt bikes.
Oh, it's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah, I started on a Harley. I never rode dirt bikes. My parents now recently have got into like dirt bikes and quads, so we'll go out now. But as a kid, I went straight to I think I was like maybe 26, 27 when I went straight into Harleys.
Wow.
First bike was like a 1990 Sportster. I think it was a 1200, and put the choke up. Make sure you put it down so that way you don't leak oil. I leaked a lot of oil everywhere I would go if I didn't put it back down. And the like key was like a turn, and it was rough. So once I had that bike for about, I want to say, a year, and then when I upgraded, it was a beautiful bike, really nice paint job.
Did you get rid of it?
Got rid of it. It was a nice bike to learn on. But yeah, just, you know, you need that 6th gear. And
did you have any inspiration, like wanting to ride, or was it one of those things that you just, I want to do it? Or?
I wanted to do it. Like, I knew in my heart I always wanted to do it. But I remember being out in Rosarito and seeing, shout out to Lydia, seeing Lydia. I think you did an interview with her too. She was on the show. Seeing her out there in Rosarito, and this was probably like 2017 maybe, a long time ago. So there was no girls out there, and she's on a cute little bike, and I looked at my husband and I was like, that's gonna be me one of these years. Like, that's my bucket list. I was like, I want to be out in Rosarito on my own bike, because we go a lot, like me and him, but I'm always on the back, and it's just for like safety, you know, not right now, but like I like to drink, so yeah, maybe being in Rosarito drinking on a bike, no helmet, is probably not the safest thing to do. But now that I'm a little bit older, more mature, I would love to one day take my bike out to Rosarito.
So maybe not this year.
Yeah.
Because of the baby.
Because of the baby, yeah. I don't want to lose myself either. Like, with the boxing and the riding, they're big parts of my life. So being a mom is just, I want it to add to my life. I don't want it to take away.
It's just part of the balance.
Exactly.
Now, speaking about your pregnancy, you've had kind of a little rocky road these last.
Yeah, it's been a crazy, I wouldn't even say a few years. I want to say almost like a decade.
Yeah, a decade.
Yeah.
You've had a hard time getting pregnant in the past as well, right?
Yes. So like I had mentioned, my husband had cancer.
Right.
So we were like, I want to say 27 when he got diagnosed, and we weren't ready to have kids at that time. But when they were like, you know, okay, this is what you got to do for when you do, because the chemo affects fertility. So then we, you know, went about it. We were like, main goal was like, let's get him cancer free. Like, babies, no babies, we can adopt. Like, we didn't even care. We were like, let's just get him healthy. And then, thank God, he's in remission. We got married, we got the house, got married, and now we're like, okay, well, now we're ready to have kids. And we're like, wait, hold up. We can't just get pregnant. So how to do IVF, in vitro fertilization. Are you kind of familiar with what that is?
A little bit, but maybe someone out there doesn't.
Yeah, so what it is pretty much is you're making the baby outside of the body. So we used my egg, his sperm that he had saved from 2018.
Wow.
So yeah, so science is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very difficult process. A lot of medication, a lot of injections, a lot of like timing, and everything has to be precise. So we went ahead and were able to get pregnant in last year, about like July of last year.
Wow.
And I ended up, so with IVF, it is a higher chance that you can get pregnant with twins, because usually what they'll do is they'll inseminate more than one embryo. But because of my age and because like of my medical history, everybody's different, but I was just like in good standing. So they only inseminated one embryo, but she ended up splitting. And so that's like a 1%, like it's like, it doesn't happen. Like, so the embryo split. So I was pregnant with identical twins.
Wow.
And they unfortunately didn't make it. A lot higher risk. But, you know, we took some time off. It took a toll on me. So I was like, not ready to try again just yet. And it's really expensive.
Oh,
so even if you're mentally ready to try, sometimes financially you're not. It's really expensive process.
Insurance
doesn't cover it. Okay. There's some jobs that do help. I know Starbucks. I was about to go get a job at Starbucks, because if you're like full-time at Starbucks, they pay for like 50% of your treatment.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a few companies that do that. And but our insurance didn't cover it, so we had to come out of pocket for it. And finally, I was like, you know what? We had the first time we did it. We told our family. Everybody kind of was like in the loop. So that support was great. But then also you do kind of feel like some sense of like, damn, did I disappoint them? Because you know, even though it's one of
those natural.
Yeah, it's like, no, of course you didn't, but you can't help but feel that way.
Right.
Or like, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? All those questions. But so fast forward to this summer, and I said, you know what? Let's try, but let's not tell anybody, just in case. Let's just make sure we get through the first trimester, and then we'll start telling everybody. So yeah, we did it without telling anybody, and then thank God got pregnant again, just one. Yeah, so now I'm 7 months pregnant.
Congratulations.
And, thank you so much. And it's been a blessing. Yeah, we're super excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, so you're not going to Mexico this year. You've endured so much, both of you guys, right? I keep looking back there, because you guys are probably wondering why I keep looking back there. Rico's back there. But you guys, you've been through so much, you've endured so much, and you've accomplished. What keeps you driven? What keeps you, because that's a lot.
Yeah, definitely God, my faith, Jesus Christ gets us through everything. I couldn't do it without me. I don't think any human can, and that's just my faith. Everybody has their own beliefs, but for me personally, it's been God, definitely. I rely on him a lot. It's literally God, family, boxing, motorcycles. That's pretty much what my life revolves around, and couldn't do it without him. And the prayers from the community, our family, our friends, all the support that we get. It takes a village to make it through the short life that we have here on earth. But just knowing that there is an eternity waiting for me fuels my faith, and yeah.
Awesome. What would you say to any young lady going through any one of these things, or even wanting to ride? What would you recommend to them about dealing with something they may be going through? Yeah.
So once you realize that life is just happening, it's not happening to you. No one's out to get you. The universe is not conspiring against you.
Right.
Once you get out of that victim mentality, through good, bad, you know, like losing loved ones, you know, cancer, illnesses, even running a business is like really, really hard. Once you realize that life's hard, I think you can really, whatever you set your mind to, you can accomplish. So girls that want to ride, yeah, it's intimidating. Girls that want to box, yeah, maybe it's awkward going into a boxing gym. But like I said, everyone's so involved in their own shit. No one's looking at you. Like we like to think we're more important than we really are. You know, like you walk into a gym and you're like, oh my God, everyone's gonna look at me and I'm doing it wrong. Nobody cares.
You're right. No, you're right.
Everybody's worried about their own. Yeah. Nobody care looking at you if you're throwing a punch wrong, or if you lay your bike down, or if you can't put it in gear. Like it's embarrassing for 1 second, and the world, everybody forgets about you. So just not, you know, being too hard on yourself. But yeah, again, if you don't have faith, if you don't have God in your life, seeking him first, I think gives you that that strength that you can't even explain, that courage to not feel so intimidated or awkward.
Right.
But yeah, those two main things, having God in your life and also just not taking yourself too serious and not worrying too much what other people think.
And I agree with that. Now, on that end of note, I want a box. Can I box a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, you guys stay tuned. We're gonna get in the ring. While we're in the ring, I want to get on the ring.
Well, you're lucky too that I'm pregnant because I'll go easy on you. If I wasn't pregnant, I would go hard.
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for tuning in to a special episode of Tales of the Queen with Jessica of Grampas, a boxing gym. Jessica, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
No problem, anytime.